St. Louis will finally pay homage to our city's most famous playwright with a theater festival in his honor. Please welcome Carrie Houk, Executive Artistic Director of the new Tennessee Williams Festival St. Louis. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. I know you're a big name in St. Louis.
Oh.
Yes, and in the acting and theater and film world, and now starting this festival.
Yes.
How did this come about?
Well, I'm a big fan, lover of Tennessee Williams, and I have been for most of my life. And I produced a Tennessee Williams rather unknown play about 1.5 years ago. And while I was in pre-production for that, I started realizing that the community really was thirsty for more Williams. People came out of the woodwork, and we really sold out our 3-week run of a very obscure Williams play. So I saw the need. I never quite understood why we hadn't had one here before. New Orleans Festival is 30 years strong. The Provincetown Festival is 10 years strong. And he only lived in those places for a minute.
Right.
And he spent 19 years in St. Louis.
Yes, yes. We'll talk about sort of his role in St. Louis, because I think some people, they might know that he lies in peace and resting at Calvary Cemetery, and his home has sort of been turned into a museum. But just talk about how St. Louis influenced his work.
Well, you know, many people say, I don't know why you're honoring Tennessee Williams, because he didn't really love St. Louis, but that's not necessarily true. His life wasn't entirely happy during those 19 years that he was in St. Louis. He was uprooted from a pretty idyllic atmosphere in the South, living with his grandparents, and there was a lot of tumult in his life when he was here. But the city became part of his fiber, and it influenced so much of his work. You know, we all know the Glass Menagerie, and there's a beautiful production that is going to be part of the festival but has already opened. And we all know that, but there are many other pieces that have that St. Louis fiber in them, and you really feel the soul of the city in many of them. And this first year of the festival, we're theming the St. Louis years. Ah,
that's great. We'll talk about what people can expect. So we're looking at the dates May 11th through the 15th. So on each day, there's something.
There's a lot.
So yeah, tell us what that kind of entails.
Well, we have, we're presenting Upstream Theater's The Glass Menagerie. We're presenting the Midnight Company's The Two-Character Play. We're producing a couple of pieces, the St. Louis Rooming House plays, which are 4 one-acts that take place site-specifically in a house in Grand Center, and they all have a St. Louis connection.
Interesting.
There's another adorable play called A Perfect Analysis, given by a parrot, that will be at the new Curtain Call Lounge on Grand next to the Fox. And there's music involved, and we have 2 visual art components. We have the Al Hirschfeld caricatures of Williams, pieces from the New York Times of his plays. Hard to get.
Yes, and I think we were looking at one right there.
Yeah, we were really lucky. They let us use that particular image in our marketing pieces, and they're hard to get.
Absolutely.
Well,
and the
Mary
fact that
Strauss was very instrumental in helping us get that show. We have a photo exhibit of Wright Hamilton's, who's sort of a Tennessee Williams photographer. He photographs all the different festivals around the country. So he'll have an exhibition at the Dark Room. Most of our venues are in Grand Center or in the Central West End.
And I think I just got an alert saying something about Olympia Dukakis. Is that correct?
Olympia Dukakis is coming on the second night on May 12th. And she will be at the Sun Theater, which is a beautiful space. And I actually heard that Tennessee Williams might have performed something there.
Really?
At one of our venues, he was very involved. The Learning Center, formerly the Wednesday Club, in the Central West End, and that's where the Two-Character Play is going to be.
Well, this is great. Do you feel like the theater community here in St. Louis, which is very strong, just jumped right on board?
Oh, absolutely, and I think the whole community has jumped right on board. I am a one-person staff with volunteers, and you know, I used to say it takes a village to create a Tennessee Williams Festival, but it takes a city, and the city has been incredibly supportive.
Yeah. No, well, congratulations. I think this is great that you're doing this, because as you pointed out, if New Orleans has one, we've got to have one here. So it's the Tennessee Williams Festival St. Louis, taking place May 11th through the 15th at various locations, as Carrie pointed out, a lot in Grand Center, but various locations throughout St. Louis. Go to the website TWFSTL.org for more information. And for tickets, visit metrotix.com. But we'll have more talking about the Tennessee Williams Festival of St. Louis right after this, so stay with us.